Brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic to be having a chat to Ellie Goulding. I am super excited to be talking to you. I remember seeing you quite a few years ago in Galway City, where you were playing along with, I think the likes of, I think it was a Heineken a gig that was years and years.
Ah,
I bought some merchandise and everything, so
did
it's a bit
you?
of a it's a bit amazing having the chance to chat to you today.
That's
How are
suddenly
you
that's come
doing?
back to me now since you mention it. It's very rare for me to like remember something, but it's all coming back to me. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun gig.
So yeah, I've seen you a couple of times in between that, but I think that was the very first time that I saw you. But thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's great to be talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Absolutely. Of course, you've got a brand new single out, which we're delighted to be playing here on iRadio. How does it feel to have new music out? I'd say it's exciting getting to promote it and you feel a new vibe.
It feels good. It feels, it's so nice to be here, still making music, doing the thing that I love. I think that's just the ultimate blessing that I get to do that. And I'm doing it for a long time. And it's obviously the pandemic kind of took it felt like it kind of ripped a few years away from us of productivity and well, just like anything normal really. And so I felt like that kind of simultaneously slowed things down and sped things up. I don't know how that even works, but I didn't really I didn't get to tour with my last album. I didn't get to really have a connection with my fans. I tried to keep up with them as much as possible, but it's really hard to figure out how people are responding to your album without actually being on tour, without seeing the reaction to the songs live. And so that I struggled with that. And it's so nice to feel like I am just fully connected with people with this music. And the idea that this song, like a savior, I wrote it a couple of years ago during the pandemic. And it's so nice to just now hear it on the radio and it be played out there. And it was specifically like a direct reaction to everything that was going on, because I just wanted to write sort of uplifting dance tracks, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember interviewing somebody quite a few weeks ago, and I think nothing is kind of the same since we all went through the pandemic. You
No.
know, I've had friends that have, they've had babies kind of during the pandemic, and I'm sure you were the same as well. And it's trying to navigate life, and you kind of realize that we're going back to the same jobs and we're going back to the same type of life, but it's all different. So I'd imagine, as an artist and as a musician, getting back out there and feeling the crowd and back to festival season and all of that. Sometimes we're a little bit like, hang on a minute, wait. We just need to ease ourselves back into it. Give us a chance.
Yeah, I think that actually having a baby helped me with that, because you have no choice. But when I was pregnant, certainly I had no choice but to take a step back and to relax a bit, and I spent a lot of days just walking out by myself. I would spend a lot of days like baking. It was a very sort of, that time in lockdown where you just didn't really know what to do with yourself. And I was writing the book at the time as well, but I was kind of hiding my pregnancy. So it's just this kind of bizarre, but quite peaceful time. And then when I had Arthur, I went straight back to the studio way too soon, way too soon. When I look back I was looking at pictures last night on my phone, and I was looking at some pictures that were sent to me, I think by Arthur's granny, that were like, oh, he's missing you. And he was only like 3 weeks old. And
Yeah.
I was already back in the studio. And when I think how small he was and how young he was, that like, I can't believe that I left him behind to go and work. But I just went into kind of survival mode. I think we all did that, where we thought, right, we have to sort of kickstart ourselves back into reality and normalcy. But yeah, I don't think I don't know if that's necessarily has been helpful, because I think we all are still processing you know the trauma of it. It was a traumatic thing to suddenly be taken away from people and to be stuck in a house. It's just we can't pretend that it was a normal thing, I think.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. You touched on a really great point there as well about, trying to get back into things, and trying to be like, okay, well, I need to do you find that in the industry sometimes it's changed so much? I find, especially with radio, it's almost like you have no downtime because you've got your laptop in front of you, you've got your phone in front of you, it seems like you're always switched on. And even though in a time, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, it was the done thing where an artist would take some time off because you tour so extensively and there's festival after festival and gig after gig, that now almost in this world of social media where we all have our phones on all the time, it's like we consume so much content. There's just so much pressure there for people to keep going. Come on, we need another single, we need another album, we need another Instagram or a reel or something like that.
Yeah. Well, the kind of the current what it feels like the current rate of consumption at the moment is so high and so intense that it's almost like you have to get on the train and it doesn't stop, and you feel like when you get off the train, you become invisible. And I think that's what a lot of artists and people in the creative world are struggling with, because it feels like you can't ever have a rest from it. There's always somebody wanting a new video or a new song or a new snippet of something or a new outfit or makeup, or it's like constant consumption and constant need for like gratification of just taking things in, and so I imagine our concentration is probably struggling a bit. I think that we can only focus on things for like 15 to 30 seconds at a time before we want to move on to the next thing. And I'm curious how that's going to play out, to be honest. I don't know how healthy it is for us. I think that it probably is making us more anxious, and it is making artists feel like they have to constantly make things, maybe at a lower quality as well, because there's not enough time to really, or you feel like you can't go away and put your sort of time and concentration into something that you truly love. Because also, I think all of our attention spans are decreasing, not just people consuming, I think people who are making stuff too. So I'm really curious to see how that is going to play out, to be honest.
Definitely. I saw that you were in studio recently with Calvin Harris. Of course, you guys, I mean, you're no stranger to making music together. Is that something that we can look forward to on the new album, or is it something a little bit further down the field?
It's not on the new album, but it's coming out soon. I'm pretty sure he wants to release it soon, which I'm very excited about. It's good to get back together with him, good to get back in the studio. We clearly have like a good thing together. So we thought, why the hell not?
Definitely. Is there any hints as to what kind of track it's going to be? Is there a music video in the pipeline or anything like that?
I think we will do a video, yeah. The song, it's very us, but I don't know. I'm curious. It's also a little bit different. It's maybe not what people will expect, but we'll see. We'll see.
Absolutely. I'm always curious as to, it was only when I was interviewing somebody a couple of months ago, I said, how do these things come about? And somebody said, oh, it's quite often just a WhatsApp and says, hey, I've got some studio time. Do you fancy popping in? And, just two friends catching up, and, the whole world gets a brand new dance track or, something to listen to. So I think it's lovely that these things happen kind of quite organically.
My New Year's resolution is to be much more collaborative and to get in the studio with other people, because you never know what's, even the most unlikely person. People always say, who do you want to collaborate with the most? And I'm like, well, there's loads of artists I'd love to work with, but I also am very open-minded to working with people that perhaps I wouldn't usually go for. You should never know what's going to come out of it. So I'm going to be a lot more open-minded, I think.
Definitely. I know you mentioned that you've got a gig coming up in London, I think in the next couple of days and stuff. Is this going to be one of the first times that you're kind of back on stage in front of a crowd and just, kind of getting back into the swing of things of performing and the new album and track and stuff?
Yeah, it's It's been a while since I've played in London, and I'm excited to play the new songs. I haven't really played them before. So yeah, I have no idea what to expect. I think a lot of hardcore fans, a lot of amazing, dedicated fans are coming from across the world to see these shows. And so I need to put on a bloody good show for them, don't I?
Well, as having seen you quite a few times, Ellie, I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed. But listen, thank you so much for giving me your time. It's such a pleasure to talk to you about the new album and the new track. And I wish you all the success with the new album and the new music. And I hope to see you really, really soon.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.